This is U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe. I'm here live to take your U.S. immigration related questions. Now, I'm focusing on getting the green card today, and I want to turn the questions to you. I want to hear what your questions are about getting the green card in the United States. You can ask me anything about getting the green card in the United States, how to get the green card. If you're in the process or you're about to start the process, go ahead and ask those questions. I'm here to answer them now. While I wait for your questions to come in, let me tell you more about me and how to get in touch with me. So I'm U.S. Immigration Attorney Sharifa Tharpe. I help clients to get their green card and status in the United States. I also represent clients in all 50 states and around the globe. So no matter where you are, I can represent you. You can go to the link in the profile and schedule your appointment at any point. Right now, you can do it online. You can do it 24/7. So if you want to go ahead and get information about how to get your green card and to make sure it's specific to you and also to get representation, go ahead and schedule that appointment. But today I'm focusing on your questions. Now, I did say ask me anything about the green card, but you can ask me any immigration questions and I will answer. But I really, really, really want to hear your questions about getting the green card, and I want to answer those questions. So don't hesitate. It can be anything, and there's no such thing as a dumb question or a question that's too simple. So put those questions in the comments and I will answer. Now, while I wait for questions to come in, this is what I will do. I will tell you about ways you can get the green card. I'm not going to touch on every single way because there are many ways. So there are over 22 or more ways. So over 22 ways to get the green card. And so whether or not you qualify for one of those will come down to you and your particular circumstances, your qualifications. But that is the extent of the options that are available in the United States. Now, here's what I do want to make note of, right? Can you just get the green card without, say you're here? I've heard this question. I'm here. I don't have any family. I don't have any spouse. I'm not going to get married. I don't have a degree. How can I get the green card? Well, keep in mind that if you don't have anything at all, um, anything that's going to qualify you for permanent residence is not going to work, right? So what I will tell you though is if all else fails, there is what's called the diversity lottery, and that is available only in certain countries. Jamaica is not on that list right now. They focus on countries where there's maybe little representation and maybe fewer people come from those countries. But it's a type of a lottery for the green card. And in that case, you still do have to meet certain qualifications, like certain educational requirements, but it certainly doesn't have to be as high as a college degree. But if all else fails, that is one of those things that luck could get you the green card. But other than that, you really do have to have a family member. You have to have an employer who's doing this for you, or if you're doing it yourself on your own, you're going to have certain qualifications, or you're going to have to maybe qualify because of certain situations that you're in. For example, if you're an asylee, so you've received asylum, if you've received VAWA, then you can get permanent residence. If you've received the T or the U visa, these are humanitarian ways, paths to permanent residence. And when I say humanitarian ways, it's based on maybe certain urgent, humane type of situations. Like if you've been the victim of trafficking, that's the T visa. if you've been the victim of, a crime, a qualifying crime, then that's the U visa. If you have been persecuted in your country and you've received asylum, then after a year of having asylum, you could then adjust status to permanent resident. So that in a nutshell are ways that you can obtain permanent residence. Um, and those are the some common ways. There are some other, uncommon ways. For example, maybe gaining permanent residence based on your nationality or your heritage, or gaining permanent residence being someone who has been in the United States or through the registry since, if you've been in the US since 1972. So, you do have uncommon ways to obtain permanent residence as well. But the most common ways would be through family, through an employer, or through humanitarian means, like what I described. All right, so I think I see a question. So let me go and scroll through. So I see Deb's move. I see green, not free, but I don't see the question. Can you go ahead and retype your question so I can answer it? So I'd really love to answer that question for you. All right. So while I'm waiting for those questions, I'm going to talk about in general terms, because the procedure to apply for the permanent resident may differ from case to case, depending on how you're qualifying. But in general, this is how usually permanent residence goes. So remember, I said you have to either qualify through your own qualifications or eligibility, you have to qualify through humanitarian means, or through an employer. Those are the most common ways. So once you've determined, or once we've determined that our client qualifies, usually it's going to involve a petition of sorts. And with the petition, once you submit the petition, um, if you're in the United States, you're likely going to include what's called an adjustment of status application. And that adjustment of status application is going to allow you to be in the United States while you're applying for permanent residence, without having to face any penalties for leaving or staying in the US. And so you will, as long as you file this, in most cases, as long as you file this before you are out of status, you should be fine. And even if you're out of status, if you are applying based on VAWA, the T, or the U visa, or you have a US citizen or a US citizen spouse, a parent, and you're under 21, or you have a son, or you have a son or daughter, son or daughter who's age 21 and up, and they're applying for you, then you could still stay and apply for adjustment of status. But if you're not in this category, more than likely you're going to need to make sure you apply for this before you overstay your status. And then it's a matter of waiting until you can get the. Oh, okay. I see it looks delayed, but I'm assuming everything is okay. If you can hear me, someone just confirm whether you can hear me or not. So usually now, once you've applied for the petition and the adjustment of status okay. All right. Okay, I'm just having some technical difficulties. All right, now let's come out. All right. So let us go ahead and fix this technical difficulties, and then we head back in. All right, hang on for a minute on Facebook while I just fix this Instagram problem that I'm having here. All right. So I think we're back on track. Thank you for your patience. So I was talking about applying for the green card. And if you're in the United States, you're going to apply using certain forms, like first is the petition for that particular permanent residence. Thanks so much for joining. I apologize for the technical difficulties. I'm back. So I was talking about applying for permanent residence in the United States through adjustment of status. And then also, if you're outside of the United States, as long as you qualify, you are able to first file the petition, and all being well, it's approved. It gets moved to the embassy where you'll attend your interview. Generally, this is how it works. If you're in the United States, you'll go by the adjustment of status route. And if you're outside of the United States, you'll likely attend an interview at the embassy. So now I saw a question that I didn't get to answer. So I think that was Terry Ann. Go ahead, put your question so I can answer your question, because I know I saw a question there, but I didn't get to it. All right. Okay, here it is. So I have a question, but it's not with green card process. If you have sickle cell and you're on filing and you don't want to take the COVID vaccine, what can you do, and will it set back your filing? So the doctor, usually the doctor has the authority to provide a waiver for you. So if you're, and the doctor will be able to tell based on your condition whether that qualifies for an exemption. But in this case, the doctor would have to give you a medical waiver, just stating that, based on the protocols in the medical field, the sickle cell individuals with sickle cell cannot receive this vaccination. So you'll have to speak to the doctor about that. And no, it's not going to be any doctor, by the way. It's going to be the physician who does the medical examination. So if I'm here, I have my baby, and my B1, B2 visa expires, can my green card holder, baby father, file for me as a green card holder? Or do I have to wait until he's a citizen? So if you overstayed that B1, B2, so you overstayed your time and the father of your child is a permanent resident, they will not be able to, you would not be able to adjust status. You would have to wait until that parent becomes a US citizen. There is another option though, right? And the other option is if you're willing to go through the waiver process. For example, if the father of your child is not going to become a citizen for years and years, then in that case, you may want to go through the waiver process. And with the waiver process, you apply for forgiveness for the overstay. And then once you get approved, it allows you to attend the interview in your country at the embassy, without facing the consequences of the overstay. So it's through the I-601A waiver. So it's those two options. So it depends, right? How soon is the father of your child going to get citizenship? And then your options are going to depend on that. If it's going to be the next 6 months, then staying for another 6 months to a year, waiting until he gets citizenship may be more worth it than applying for the I-601A waiver. If it's going to be a couple of years and you really want to make sure you're on track, then applying for the waiver is probably going to be your best bet here. But this is where scheduling the consultation is very important, because if you don't, then this is general information and this is complex stuff that I'm trying to break down. And so if you don't get that advice, you're not really going to get dependable information. So make sure you schedule an appointment. Let's talk about your options and then get started right away. All right. Okay, so my sister husband filed for her and the kids got approved, and hers is still reviewing. What could be the issue? It just depends on what's going on. I don't know what the issue is. I don't know the case, and I'm not the attorney. It could be a number of things. It could be that they're reviewing the marriage, they're reviewing the evidence. It could be that they're requiring additional information, and maybe you haven't gotten it. Your sister hasn't gotten it yet. But it's hard to say. Just when your husband he filed 3 different applications for the kids if he's a citizen, and then for your sister. And so the parent-child relationship usually moves at a faster pace than the spousal applications, and so that might be the issue here. But they are being processed as 3 different applications. All right. Okay, so I don't see any more questions. I'm going to call it a day. I will be back tomorrow. I'm hoping you all are preparing well for the Christmas weekend, and I will see you tomorrow, which would be Friday, right before the Christmas. I'm looking forward to that. But in the meantime, stay safe. Think of some more questions because I will be back tomorrow. I apologize for the technical difficulties, but I'll be back tomorrow. So go ahead, think of those questions. I'll think of another topic to talk about, and then we will discuss it tomorrow. Have a good one. Thanks. Bye.